Hi everyone, Emery from PDMG here today. I'm going to be talking with you all about the Amazon Buy Box. We're going to talk about what is the Buy Box, how it works, why it's so important to win the Amazon Buy Box for your product, and best practices for doing so. Okay, so first I'm just going to pop over to Amazon really quickly. I just typed in this random this lotion, and just to show you what the buy box is, what it looks like, this right here on the right hand side is your buy box, where the customer can see the price and when it's going to get delivered, and the option to add it to their cart or buy it now. So just wanted to show you guys that so you kind of know what it looks like and where you would find it on your listing. Okay, so let's pop back over here. Let's talk about first, what is the Amazon Buy Box? So like I just showed you all, it's the white box on the right-hand side of the listing when customers go to a desired product page on Amazon. And this box is going to show you the price, the date, add to cart, all those things. And most Amazon customers purchase items through the buy box. And then just for reference, featured offer is another way to refer to the buy box. So those are kind of interchangeable when referring to this, the box. Okay, so what is the purpose of the buy box? You can see we've got another picture here, another example. The buy box exists in order to show the customer what Amazon deems as the highest ranking listing for that product. And there are different factors that Amazon uses to determine this ranking. Amazon's goal here is to provide the customer with the best overall value and buying experience for a specific product. So that's what they're looking for with the buy box. There's no limit to the number of sellers or products that can be sold on Amazon. So that means that many sellers could be selling the exact same product, but no, only one listing may win the buy box. And because most customers purchase through the buy box, the listing that's winning that buy box will make much more sales than any of the other listings. So that's why it's really important to have it, because you'll do better and make more sales. Okay, so let's first talk about buy box eligibility. In order to compete and potentially win the buy box, you first have to be buy box eligible. You can check this by going into Amazon and just typing the phrase buy box eligibility like into the search box at the top of your Amazon Seller Central page, and a box will pop up onto the page, and you can just type in your product's ASIN and Amazon will tell you the eligibility status. They might ask for the SKU as well, so just keep that in mind. But in order to be buy box eligible, you must have a professional Amazon seller account set up. You must be selling new items. You must have available stock of the item competing for the buy box. And then you need to have a good track record of selling on Amazon for sure. So based on the completion of the following items, you might see that some of your products are buy box eligible and some aren't. If you're out of stock on an item, you won't be able to compete for the buy box for it. So that's another reason why maintaining balanced inventory levels is really, really important. Okay, so let's go on down here and talk about some best practices for winning the Amazon buy box. So keep in mind that, what we talked about just above, being buy box eligible does not guarantee that you're just going to win the buy box for that product. And also, Amazon does not disclose every single factor that goes into winning the buy box. There's some information that isn't available to us, but we're going to talk about here what we do know you can do to increase your chances of winning the buy box. Okay, so first and foremost, pricing competitively. We do know that the buy box has a lot to do with price, so it's definitely important to remain competitive here for sure. Okay, so a tip here is to just, be making use of the managed pricing page, the pricing dashboard, the Seller Coach pricing report. These are all pages that you can use in Seller Central just to kind of look at your pricing and get organized here and make sure you're pricing competitively. Another thing you can do is offer faster and free shipping using FBA can be helpful here as well. And we'll talk about that again down below. But definitely faster and free shipping will be a contributing factor for you for winning that buy box. Another important thing to focus on is providing great customer service in compliance with Amazon. So let's talk about this. Amazon gives 24 hours to respond to customer messages, so you just have to make sure that you're being timely with your responses. Like if you took too long to respond, maybe it took you a week to respond instead of within that 24 hours, your chances of winning the buy box might be negatively impacted for that product. Just be proactive here. You don't have to wait for a customer complaint. You can just be on the lookout for potential issues. Always monitor your account health dashboard, voice of the customer. It's a good idea to just watch for trends here because then it might alert you to an issue going on with your product. Maintaining your order defect rate. So your A to Z guarantee claims, chargeback claims, negative feedback, all these metrics need to be in good standing. And your order defect rate can definitely negatively impact your chances of winning if your rate's really poor. So you just want to, take customer service seriously, take customer concerns seriously, answer questions, problem solve, things like that. Always keep stock available is another good tip. Keeping an eye on all your performance metrics. You can also just be watching your overall shipping performance, like your late shipment rate or your on-time delivery rate, because those could have an effect as well. Having good seller feedback ratings. This is a good one, especially having recent good seller feedback ratings. This can help increase your chances. And the same goes for the number of ratings as well. So, 5 great seller feedback ratings would be better than just having 1. Keeping an eye on your competition. If you've got multiple sellers competing for the buy box, you should just watch out and see what they're doing with their price, how you can kind of keep up with them. And then the last one here is just using your business reports, because this is going to help you keep track of what's going on with all your products and maybe identify some issues. Okay, scrolling on down, let's talk about important tips to keep in mind. So like we said above, pricing is an extremely important factor with winning the buy box. However, just because you have the lowest price for the product, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to win the buy box. Because let's say you have the lowest price, but you've got some other, major issues going on with your account, like customer service. You might not be able to win the buy box, even though you've got the lowest price. And also a good tip here is just if you're staying on top of all those metrics, staying on top of your customer service, you might have a better chance of actually increasing your price if you would like to do so without losing the buy box. Next tip is that Amazon does decide at the end of the day who gets the buy box, not the sellers, not the customers. So, it's just really important to monitor your listings and be proactive. I think that's one of the best things that you can do. Your time, experience, and history in selling on Amazon are contributing factors. So just know that it's going to take time and effort to remain competitive. Another way to look at your overall buy box data is to look at the very top of your Seller Central account and click the drop down for buy box wins. You should see it's a little square box and there should be a percentage in that box. Once you click the drop down in there and go to that page, you'll be able to see all of your buy box data. Also take a look at your inactive offers when you go into this data. Are there any ASINs that are showing deactivated due to a pricing error? If so, you could take action there and try to compete for the buy box by fixing that. You also might want to look at the featured offer tab. Do you have any ASINs that are listed as ineligible for the buy box? If so, you would take action there. And it should give you, a reason why. Also, do you have ASINs listed as eligible for the buy box, but they're not winning? So they are eligible, so different than the question before, but they're just not winning. And Amazon might show you what your price is compared to the listing that is winning. And then maybe you can learn, is price the reason I'm not winning? What's going on here? Another thing to keep in mind is that the featured offer or the buy box is at the ASIN level. So let's say that you have multiple variations for the same product. Like you have a product that, comes in several different flavors, but it's the same product. You might, be winning the buy box for some of those products and not others. Another tip is it is possible to hold the buy box for a percentage of the day. One way I like to think about it is your share of the buy box. So the seller that is stronger than the rest, or that, that Amazon is deeming strongest, will hold the majority share. So an example would be, that top ranking seller might hold the buy box for 70% of the day, when a lower seller might hold it for 30%. Now, this is all going to depend, on those factors that we discussed as to what Amazon deems as the better buying experience for the customer. So just be aware that your share of the buy box can change as factors with your account can change. And this can even happen over the course of the day. Okay, so PDMG hacks. So there are certain factors that we know of that contribute to winning the Amazon buy box. We can't determine exactly how much each factor is weighted, but we do know that all of the following are contributing factors on some level to the buy box. Okay, so we talked about this briefly above, but Fulfilled by Amazon will be non-FBA a majority of the time. So doing Amazon Prime absolutely should give you a leg up. And Seller Fulfilled Prime is helpful too. Price definitely is going to weigh in. Your overall feedback score is going to weigh in. Location of the package. Okay, so let's think about where the product is located in relation to the customer. Is the customer, in Texas and the product is in Florida? What warehouse is it in? Okay, so Amazon wants to reduce costs. The closer the product is to the customer, the faster and the cheaper Amazon can ship that product. Plus, Amazon is also concerned about the customer experience, which means that the product that can get to the customer the fastest may be considered better, because that would be a better experience for the customer if they can get it sooner. This is why it's important to think about your share of the buy box that you may win. You might have, the product closer to the customer 70% of the time, but 30% of the time, another seller's product was closer. That means that you would have won the buy box 70% of the time. Next, if Amazon is selling a product, they win the buy box the majority of the time. An exception to this would be if the Amazon package is super far away from the customer. Amazon doesn't want to have to put a product on a plane to get it to a customer across the country, as this would not be cost effective. So Amazon itself may give the buy box to another seller, but that's so long as the location of the other seller's product is already much closer to the customer. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. Okay, so the first one is, let's say there's two sellers and they're selling the exact same product and they both have the same price. They're both shipping Amazon Prime. Well, what is Amazon going to do to see who might win the buy box here when these metrics are tied, the price and the shipping? Okay, so Amazon might look at the overall feedback score and the location of the package. Again, what warehouse is the product in, to determine the buy box winner. What if price, shipping, and feedback score are tied? Then Amazon may go with the location of the package. So whatever product can get to the customer fastest, again, this cuts costs for Amazon and improves the customer experience, may win the buy box. Okay, next example. Let's say there's two sellers. Again, they're selling the exact same product. Neither of them are using FBA, so neither are doing fulfillment by Amazon. One seller has their product in New York and the other seller has the product in California, but the customer is in Boston. So the seller that has the product in New York would likely win the buy box here, because New York is much closer to Boston than California is. So that product should be able to get there quicker. Okay, third. So again, let's say two sellers selling the exact same product. One seller is Amazon and the other one is not. Amazon has their product in a warehouse in Florida, and the other seller has the product in Texas. But then the customer is also in Texas. In this case, Amazon may give the buy box to the other seller just because they might be able to get it there much faster than Amazon would. And remember how we mentioned Amazon doesn't want to have to put a product on a plane to get it to that customer. Okay, last example. Let's say there's two sellers selling the exact same product. One is Amazon and the other is not. Let's say that both of these sellers, Amazon and whoever the other one is, have the product within about the same distance to the customer. Amazon will probably win the buy box here. Okay, so I think that about covers it on the Amazon buy box tips, best practices, and how it works. But let us know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'll include a link to our blog so you can go and check out the blog post about this topic and download the PDF that we have right here. Thanks so much. Have a good day.